thank you all for joining us for this really special webinar. This is gonna be really good. But first, to quickly introduce all of us, I am Stephanie Grice, so I'm Senior Education Manager. If you've joined our webinars before, you probably recognize this voice, might have popped on here before, but if not, it's really good to meet you all. But we also have Kyle, who is VP of Product, joining us today. And for those of you who haven't met Kyle before, Kyle, can you just share a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kyle Dieterding, here in Lincoln, kind of in one of our main offices. So I joined Travefy in April. I've spent about 15 years building service-based technology. Some of the reasons I really joined Travefy and love my job, I just absolutely love working with people who genuinely love what they do. There's such a strong community and culture of growth and helping each other within travel. It's just been awesome. And all of you have such a passion and unwavering commitment to your clients. And I can't think of anything I'd rather do. I just love building software that helps facilitate those types of interactions. So I joined in April. Since then, I've just been spending a ton of time deeply understanding you, your needs, the market, and then internally helping us get back to our roots. So really just leaning into what Travefy has always been good at, listening to advisors and moving relentlessly to deliver what you need. So it's been an amazing time. I've met some of you out there. I want to keep doing more of it. I can't promise that we can build everything you want, but I can promise I want to hear your thoughts and learn from you.
Yes, so awesome. And Kyle's so great that we had him on a sales workshop for a sneak peek, and we're like, Kyle, we got to bring you back again. So that's why he's on here again, which is so exciting. But we also have Scott, who's VP of the commercial team, joining as well. And in case if you don't already know the famous Scott Rutz, can you share a little bit about yourself, Scott?
Man,
How do you
that requires no introduction. That might need an introduction. So my name's Scott Rutz, as Stephanie mentioned. If you're an OG Travefy community member, you might have been on a training session or a demo with me years ago. You might have seen me on webinars. I help lead our sales, marketing, support teams, but I'm also part of the founding team. So I've been here since literally day one and have really had the privilege to work with so many incredible travel advisors and agencies, and just been able to help Travefy grow and connect more businesses with our software over those years. So really, really excited for everyone to be here today.
Woo! And as we said, there's so much fun stuff for you today. I'm calling it now. This might be one of the coolest webinars that I've ever been a part of. So I'm really excited. But to tell you a little bit more about what today's webinar will look like is first, I'm going to pass it off to Kyle and Scott just to really share all of the recent updates Travefy has launched. They'll also share more of what's coming soon and even what to expect into 2025. And once they're done revealing all of those amazing features and new tools, I'm going to walk you through of some of these features in a demo, actually. So I'm really excited about that. But we also will make sure to have a little bit of time for Q&A. But we remember, we do have a lot to cover today. Like, there's a lot of stuff. So we might not get a lot of time for Q&A at the end. But we do have Kendra and Jonathan from our amazing client champion support team in the back. They're in the background helping to answer your questions in real time. So yes, hands, like I always like to say, their keyboard's going to be on fire. They're going to be going so fast. So you might get a response back from them. So they're going to be helping to answer those questions. But also, I do need a note, stick around until the end because there's going to be a really fun chance for you to win a Travefy swag bag. And we'll tell you how. It's pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. I definitely want to hang around for that. But then last couple of things is just some housekeeping things that, again, ask those questions. If you can, try to use that Q&A panel within Zoom. It's just going to make it a lot easier for our team to answer those questions as quick as they can. But in case if your questions don't get answered, know that our entire support team is ready to help after this webinar. You can live chat us from inside your account or just send us an email at professional@travefy.com. And then one of the biggest things that I'm sure everyone's wondering, in case if you have to hop off, yes, we're recording. This will all be recorded. And we're actually going to have it up on our YouTube channel later today. So you'll be able to go back, watch it, send it to your friends, colleagues, all of that good stuff. So that's all I have for right now. But I say, let's get this party started. And Kyle and Scott, I'm gonna let you both take it away.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Stephanie. So we want to start with just some recent updates, and we'll dive right in. The first thing I want to talk about is actually something we released back in June. And just reminding everybody, we pushed out Marketplace. And since June, there's been over 10,000 items created and shared by all sorts of people in group. So the reason we did this was so many of you as individual advisors are leaning into the community and already sharing content or ideas and things like that. And we wanted to make that a lot easier and facilitate allowing you to share a lot of that free content back and forth. What you'll also find in Marketplace, you'll see Travefy. We use it to share our own examples. So if you've been on a training or a webinar recently, we like to put a lot of that type of content up here. So immediately after that, you can come find some of that content that we've been talking about and jump in and start using it in your business. We've also been seeing partners like Magic Made Simple love it. They're really leveraging Marketplace to build their brand. And lastly, we're seeing a ton of buzz from tour operators who are looking to create great content and get it in front of you and make it easier for you to be building itineraries. And it just keeps improving. So just a month ago, we brought our landing pages to Marketplace. So from events to full itineraries to forms and now pages, there's just a huge variety of content out there to help you run your business. We also continue to invest in integration. So one thing we always want to do at Travefy is make it easy for you to find and use amazing content for your clients. And one of the ways we do that is through integrations. So Viator and ALG continue to invest and look to Travefy first, knowing that we work with more advisors and help build more itineraries than anybody. So those are two integrations that have continued to update and reach out to us for updates. In addition to that, we have our own API for partners who wish to integrate with us, and we've recently partnered with Ultimate Jet Vacations, and they're thrilled to integrate quoting and itinerary capabilities with Travefy. So the initial kind of internal rollout for Ultimate Jet Vacations is underway, and full access is coming soon and expected by year end. So Travefy users, you can contact your Ultimate Jet Vacations travel advisor or be matched with one if you don't have one for more details and updates. We're also really excited to announce a deeper partnership and integration with Classic Vacations. So when you are logged in and viewing the travel advisor itinerary on Classic Vacations website, all advisors will have the option to push those itineraries directly to Travefy. In addition to that, your Classic Vacations call center reservation agents will also be able to push itineraries into the travel advisor's Travefy account. And now with this new integration, courtesy holds or options will also be able to be pushed into Travefy. And so those are some of the things we've been working on and released recently. We want to look through some of the things that are coming in the rest of the year. And the first one of those is what we're calling smart import. So we always want to bring you the most direct integrations with the most content. We absolutely love to integrate directly where we can because it always gives you the best, freshest, most updated content. But we know it's not uncommon to have something that you can't find through in a direct integration on Travefy today. And frankly, not every tour operator is big enough to even offer those types of integrations. So we're always on the lookout for how we can make it simpler for you to create and use great content. So with our new Smart Import, you'll be able to upload a PDF or copy paste information, and Travefy will smartly pull out the events, let you preview them, and add them directly to your itinerary. Behind the scenes, we're already using this, and it's been used over 10,000 times. This is something that we're excited for you to have access next week. Oh. We also know how important cruises are to what you do. So we want to keep making cruises more discoverable and easier to find in Travefy. And we'll have more cruises than ever. We're doubling down on making sure that we have the most cruise lines and the most sailings possible across ocean, river, luxury, and more. And with this comes better content. So richer summaries, deck plans, cabin info, other ship amenities, in addition to more information about each port, all with more control for you. So whether you're looking to give your client an overview early in your planning process or to create that rich, full itinerary for the actual travel. And you can look for this late in Q4. And we are redefining what a trip is in Travefy to reflect more of how you work and help you manage your trips easier and faster. A trip is just so much more than a single itinerary or proposal. You're doing so much more around planning a travel experience. Travefy has grown with you. Many of you are bouncing all around Travefy right now to manage your proposals, create a landing page for the trip, create and manage forms from everything for international travel prep to credit card authorization. And so with this comes a new look, better organization, and new functionality. One of the main drivers here is staying organized. You'll be able to add labels to your trips to quickly organize your trip list. And now from a single view, you'll be able to add multiple itineraries, proposals, or forms to a trip. This is going to be helpful for planning group trips or presenting different proposal options to your clients. Now you'll be able to create, send forms, and see the responses directly within the context of that trip you're planning. And it gets even better. You'll have the ability to resend the form to your client, and it'll keep that saved message and the values in the form so you don't have to re-enter anything. And lastly, you'll be able to add private internal notes on a trip that only you and your team can see. There's some really big underlying changes in the architecture for us to deliver this. We've had advisors using this to power their business for months now. It's such a core change that we really are taking our time. You'll have your own chance to try this next week, so look for an announcement in Travefy. One of those reasons that we've taken our time on this is to get to one of the most requested things we hear. And we're working on decisions, a way for you to collaborate with your clients to get the answers you need to plan their travel. We're starting with an easy and professional way to provide multiple proposal options to a client. All through a single email and link, you'll be able to send multiple proposals, summarize them with the key differences at a high level, and position your client to intuitively respond. Not only can the client respond to their decision, but you can include a custom form of your choice or even a payment authorization so you can get straight into booking. We also know that not every decision happens early in the process or at such a high level. Almost every trip you plan has more decisions that you need from your client to move forward. So whether it's a cabin level on a cruise or the type of hotel suite or a choice of afternoon activity, we'll make it easy for you and your client to clearly communicate and get you the info you need. So we're really excited with what the rest of 2024 holds in terms of improvements you'll see on Travefy, and we're just as excited for what we have planned in 2025. And I'm just going to get straight to the punchline for 2025. We have heard you, and now is the time that we are all in on CRM. It may not feel like it, but we've been listening and discussing it for quite some time. And when I say listening for quite some time, I really mean it, from way before I even joined. So Scott, can you give us a quick history lesson on where Travefy came from?
Yeah, absolutely. So for many of you that may not have been familiar with Travefy, we've been around for about 11 years. And with that, we had an original focus around itinerary management, because at that time when we launched, that was the biggest gap we saw in the travel advisor's workflow. They had all of the other tools, the booking platforms, the back office system, mid office system, but getting a comprehensive custom itinerary was a big, big pain point for them. Now, while building that core itinerary tool for advisors, we heard customer feedback around needing additional functionality beyond that. And this was a huge focus for our team while we worked through COVID, adding in websites, landing pages, contact management, forms, and credit card authorization. But all of that was building out from the itinerary management piece, where we continue to reinvest to make it better and better with new supplier integrations that you can't get anywhere else, like ALG vacations, destination content, and more, just to name a few. So now fast forward to today, Travefy is the most widely adopted itinerary management solution in the leisure travel space, used by 30,000 travel brands worldwide. So we've always been innovating and working to provide more value and more streamlined workflows for advisors. In fact, it's funny because we get so many comments, whether it's on a webinar like this or on training sessions or in person, that agents will literally say, I had no idea Travefy had all of this functionality, where it's actually a really fun challenge for us on the team, just in keeping you up to date on all of the new updates that the team's releasing weekly and monthly. But that's where we continue to hear a consistent voice from users that they use Travefy daily to run their business and impress clients. So to sum it up, Kyle, this is where we continue to focus, where we can provide more value to advisors in the future.
Yeah, we started as an itinerary builder, and we've added so many of these other pieces, and they're all over right now. You might find yourself going 3 different places within the span of one workflow. Part of our work around trips is making those things easier, not only to discover in Travefy, but much more approachable to begin using in your daily workflows.
Yeah, exactly. When I chat with advisors, they say it's really interesting to hear how heavily invested they are in using Travefy daily. And they keep finding more things to help them operate better and more smoothly on a daily basis. Whether it's building proposals, sending off a credit card authorization form, running an automated workflow in Travefy, or just collecting a planning fee, so we really have a great foundation built, but we definitely recognize there's some gaps. And the resounding voice we hear is that advisors want to be able to do more in Travefy and not jump around to lots and lots of different systems in the process. So we see this deeper CRM functionality and that focus for 2025 really as a logical next step to provide tools that advisors need to run your business. So we see tens of thousands of users using Travefy on a daily and weekly basis where we have a lot of the core data and the things you need to do. So for example, Travefy already has the itinerary data and client information that you need to generate a professional invoice. Also, Travefy is the core booking data from the itinerary that is needed to speed up commission tracking and eliminate duplicate data entry. But also, Travefy has all the travel dates and the client information, so you can send email workflows and client communication really seamlessly through the platform. So as you can start to see, Travefy is in a unique position to offer advisors a real advantage in working more smoothly.
Yeah, and that unique position has really driven our focus here in 2024 and where we want to go in 2025. So while there are a lot of exciting parts of this Trips release that we've talked through, and you'll see a demo a bit later, we've really taken our time with Trips because it's so critical to what you all are needing. We know that a CRM just can't be bolted onto an itinerary. It must be built into your process so that the CRM works for you and not the other way around. So much of your daily work revolves around planning a trip for a client or group of clients, and almost everything else to run your business involves understanding how those clients, trips, and activities need to come together from a business perspective. So what are some of the specific things you've heard, Scott, around CRM over the past couple of years, but also recently?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really exciting topic because it's so much fun to listen to Travefy users about how they use Travefy today and where they need the software to go next to help support their business. So I want to answer this by bragging on one of our customers with a story. So for example, a few months ago, Stephanie and I were on a call with Dave Natale. He has an incredible river cruise business where he's not just selling $1 million per year, he's selling nearly $1 million per month. And Travefy is a key part of his tool set to be able to communicate with clients and operate his groups more smoothly with his river cruise business. And he was telling us this, and we're just kind of floored by the impact that the software has had in making his business run more smoothly. But what's really fun is that story is not unique. We hear these stories every day from advisors that Travefy is a key part of their process. And whether it's Dave, an absolute rock star, or maybe it's a first-year advisor just entering the market, we get so many great ideas on how we can help you more. So we definitely hear a lot, to get back to your original question, Kyle, we definitely hear a lot around specific itinerary needs. But the vast majority of what we hear is around deeper CRM needs, email workflows, better client communication options, invoicing, commission tracking payments. But also with groups, while we have some great functionality for groups like landing pages, registration forms, credit card authorization, or group tagging, there's still some gaps that we can close to make Travefy even more effective for groups. So you can see a lot of what we're hearing from our users really converges around the deeper CRM needs and the deeper CRM functionality.
Yeah, and when we talk about CRM, it's impossible to not talk about the importance of that client information, not only to our advisors, but to the host agencies and consortia as well.
Yeah, that's a really important point and a great factor to bring up. And this is something that Travefy approaches really differently from other technology companies in the travel advisor space. When I chat with host agencies, whether small, large, or even mega hosts, we see two common stories. So some agencies want to simplify everything down to one system. Some of our good friends at one host recently mentioned to me, they're on an eternal quest to find the one system, the one-stop shop. Now, that's one story. What we also hear is a second story from agencies and hosts that they have existing systems that work. They don't necessarily want to change their back office systems or accounting systems that are already working for them. So when we hear those two stories from agencies, we do see a path forward where Travefy can help both, where we can help agencies simplify down to one system and also help agencies by integrating smoothly with their existing systems like Xeon for commission tracking or Trace or Vacation CRM or TripSuite to run their back office and give their agency or their host the tools they need to make operations run smoothly. So the bottom line is, as an advisor, you should be confident that when you use Travefy for your business needs, it also can seamlessly connect to deliver what your host needs in the same process.
Awesome. So now let's go a little deeper on how we're approaching CRM here at Travefy. And so as we've been listening to feedback from our users, one of the key challenges that comes up is commission tracking. Many of you have shared the difficulties you face in tracking commissions effectively within the platform. Right now, many of you are often forced to juggle multiple tools or systems just to keep track of these important details, which can add unnecessarily complexity to your workflow. So we know that having to use extra tools just isn't ideal. Not only does it increase your costs, but it also adds more manual work and time spent transferring the data between these systems. This pain point is something we want to address to help make your workflow as efficient and seamless as possible. So first, we're exploring ways to introduce commission tracking directly into Travefy. The goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to log, track, and view commissions all in one place. No more jumping back and forth between external tools or spreadsheets. And then next, we're considering how we might connect Travefy to your host agency systems or other tools you rely on. This could allow for smoother data transfers and eliminate the need for duplicate entries. By consolidating commission tracking and making it part of the Travefy experience, we hope to give you greater control and visibility without all that extra work. Another area we've been hearing a lot about is the challenge of maintaining invoices and payments. Many of you have shared that creating invoices within Travefy is more difficult than it should be, and tracking payments can feel disjointed. On top of that, there's no straightforward way to track balances and fees, which we know are essential parts of running your travel business smoothly. Right now, managing these aspects often requires either switching between those systems or even manually logging details outside of Travefy, which can lead to errors and ultimately more time spent on the administrative side of your work. We want to help make this simpler, more integrated into your workflow. We're exploring ways to bring tracking capabilities directly into the platform. Imagine having an itemized invoice option where you could not only create invoices, but also break them down by specific items or services. This would make it clearer for both you and your clients and reduce the chance of missed details. We're also looking into ways for you to easily monitor balances and see payments in real time. This would mean that instead of double checking or cross-referencing in another tool, you'd have a quick and accessible view of all outstanding balances and fees right within Travefy. Our goal is to create a system that helps you stay organized and saves you time, making invoicing and payment tracking a more seamless part of your experience. As we explore these improvements, we're eager to hear your input and make sure we're addressing the specific needs you encounter day to day. Lastly, I want to talk about client communication. Many of you are already powering your client communication through Travefy, and still this is another area we've heard from many of you that the current setup isn't quite meeting your needs. Right now, that lack of tools for more personalized communication makes it challenging to connect effectively with your clients, especially when you need to use workflows or tailored messaging for each stage of their journey. One particular need that stands out is the ability to use your business email within Travefy to communicate directly with clients. Many agents are currently forced to use external email platforms, which can create a disconnect in the workflow and adds to the time and effort required to manage client relationships. So first, we're exploring the option for agents to connect your business email accounts directly to Travefy. This integration would make it possible to manage emails all in one place without having to jump between platforms. Additionally, we're looking at ways to incorporate rich text formatting for any email, things like bold text, color options, other styling features to make your emails more on your brand and more engaging. Not only would this allow you to personalize your messages, but it would also give you more control over how your communications look and feel to clients. With these features, you'll be able to introduce new workflows for prospective clients as well as those repeat customers. And to finish it off, just to wrap up, I want to take a step back and look at how these new CRM focused features are designed to help simplify your workload and save you both time and money. So across those three areas, commission tracking, payment, and invoice management, invoice and then client communication, our goal is to reduce your reliance on third-party tools and complex workflows. With integrated commission tracking, you'll no longer have to manually log or switch to another system just to monitor your earnings. Similarly, itemized invoicing and payment tracking will allow you to keep all your financial data organized within Travefy, so there's no need to duplicate that work in separate tools. And when it comes to client communication, incorporating email workflows, personalizations options, and improved deliverability ensure that you can stay connected with your clients in a way that's effective and professional without relying on external email platforms. Ultimately, by streamlining all of these core CRM functions, Travefy really aims to give you back time and simplify those daily tasks that drive your business. We're excited to continue exploring these possibilities with you and are grateful for all of your input in helping us shape the future of Travefy. So as you can see here, we have a ton going on. We just covered a lot of ground about what we're working on now and where we want to go with all of you on this call. So we want to go there together. We've covered all of that. I think now is time for the really fun part. I'm going to send it over to Stephanie. Can you walk us through some demos of some of those pieces we're working on right now?
Absolutely. Oh man, such cool stuff in there. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen. I'm just like, wow, it's so fun watching the chat too. Everyone, they're loving all of this. Okay, let's see here. Let me share my screen and get into some really fun stuff. But again, how exciting is all of that, everybody? I can't wait to just actually dive in and show you some of these new tools in action, which I know some of you have already been able to see some of it, but I think this is going to really give you just a helpful glimpse of what's to come in there. And let me just move. Sorry, I was so wrapped up in all the things Kyle was saying that I got lost on my screen there. But one of the things that's really great that we're going to look at today is looking at the new trips view. So I want to take a little bit of time just showing you the new trips view, and show you how we're redefining what a trip really is in Travefy. And then we're going to explore the really, really exciting decisions, which is going to allow you to present proposal options to your client in a more streamlined and, dare I say, show-stopping way. And then I'm going to show you some real-life examples of using the Smart Import tool, which is an AI-powered feature that allows you to pull content and information from almost anywhere. Just wait until you see it. It's really cool. And then I'm going to wrap it up with just exploring a little bit of some upcoming updated cruise content that I know you're going to love. So there's a lot, but these 4 things I'm going to walk you through really quickly and show you. So let me dive in here. So the first thing we want to talk about is exploring that new trips view. So everyone take a breath. If you've never seen this before, you're probably like, what is that? So I know some of you have already seen this view, but when you log into your account now, this is what you see. And like you heard us say earlier, we're really redefining what a trip is in Travefy. So previously, a trip was a single itinerary or a single proposal. But now you can create and manage multiple itineraries, multiple proposals in a single trip. And you even can include forms and decisions and pages. So this is going to be really, really helpful for organizing those quotes, proposals, group trips, and more. So let's take a closer look here. Now, when you first log in now, you'll see this new view. And when you're ready to start a new trip, you're just going to go ahead and click new trip. And you'll see now from this drop down, you can start it off with an itinerary or a proposal. Now, for the sake of time today, I've already started building one that I want to show you so you can get a real good idea of how this can be used. But you can see here, look at how I have multiple proposals in here. I have forms, and these are all organized in one single trip in here. Now, a few places that I want to point out. First, how do you add new items to a trip? This is probably going to be one of the biggest things that you'll want to make sure you know how to do. And that's by just simply clicking this add new button at the bottom. You can see from here, you now can add, are you adding an itinerary, a proposal, form, decision? And then once you choose one of these, it's really great and easy because you can either start from a brand new one, like a new itinerary or proposal or form, or you also can pull from ones that are templates that are already in your library. So again, it's going to really help streamline and make this very quick, which is really handy. Another thing to point out is when you do need to edit one of the itineraries or proposals, it's going to still be very similar to what you're used to. So you can just click into one of those proposals or itineraries and then just click the edit button right over here. And this is going to bring you into that same itinerary or proposal builder that you already know and love. So that's how you get into editing specific just itineraries or proposals. Now, to give you another high level view of the trip. So, again, everything's staying organized in this one area. So now you can go and quickly view all the trip activity for this entire trip. So, what's really great about this is you can see all of the client's interactions within this trip. And one thing that's nice too is if you ever see a red dot appear, that means that something needs your attention. So, maybe a client chatted you, or if you have a collaborator on the trip, maybe they added information. So you'll be automatically shown that, hey, something you haven't seen has happened. So you can see that in the trip activity. You also now have the central view for every contact in this trip. This is going to help so much, again, for all those people on here who do those group trips, which I know there's been a lot of people entering the group travel space. This is going to be so helpful because now you can view all of your clients that are in this trip. You can see the activity, everything they've done. And then if you are working with collaborators within your team, you can see that as well in there too. So really easy spot to go get a high level look at everything. You also, of course, still have your beloved tasks and automation. So those incredible tools still there. And then this, I wish I had a drum roll. I need a drum roll for this because something everyone has been asking for is internal private notes. You have it now. So it's in the trip view and you can see it right here. And this little note section is just for you or any of your team members you might be collaborating with. So now you have a place to keep all of those internal notes organized for that specific trip. So really fun stuff there. Now, a couple other things I do want to highlight really quickly is one, another thing I love about this is that you can also archive your items within the trip. So you could always, archive itineraries or proposals. But now, if you need to start cleaning up this group trip or this trip as it is, you can always just click on the item and then you do have the option to archive it. And then what's really handy is you'll still be able to view all of your archived items in that trip. So they're not going to go into the abyss somewhere. They're right there. You can still access them. So again, nice, clean, organized look and feel. And then you still can copy those trips as well. So copy an itinerary or a proposal. And one thing that's really great about this, when you are able to copy, you do have the option where you can copy an itinerary or a proposal in the same trip. You can create a new trip out of it, or you can add it to an existing trip. It's really easy. Super simple, again, to just be moving things around and copying things so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. And then
And
the final thing I'm going to
sorry,
point, oh,
Stephanie,
yeah.
just really quick, one on archive, one of the things we heard a lot is when you archive something, it will automatically hide it from your client as well. So if you send them a proposal that they don't choose, and you want to get that out of your view, it also automatically hides it for the client at the same time. So you don't have to manage what all can they see.
That is huge. Did you all hear that? That's amazing. So that's another feedback thing that we've had a lot that, yeah, when you do archive that, it automatically goes away. So this proposal that I'll show you a little bit more here in a couple minutes, but this proposal right here, if I wanted to remove out those other options they didn't choose, then I can just go ahead, archive it, and I can still go and see it, but the client can't. So that's huge. Thanks for calling that out, Kyle, because that's a big one. The last one that I want to point out, this is another one that people have been asking for, and I'm really excited for it, is labels for your trips. So, like how you have just a lot of trips going on all the time, and you need a way just to quickly look up and see, okay, what's going on with this, whether it's, whatever it might be, a group or your VIP clients, or if you have a client that you do a lot of trips with, you can actually add labels now. So you can add those labels right at the top here and then you can quickly view those labels in there as well. So I think that's going to be really handy for a lot of people with your workflow, just staying organized in there. So just to quickly recap before I leave this trips area, two things you'll want to know once you start getting early access or once you can opt in to start using this, you'll want to remember that new trip button. This is where you'll start. And then once you have that trip started, then you can start adding all of the items just right at the bottom there. It says add new. So really easy, intuitive, but it's going to be a lot of fun jumping in to that new trip experience. But with that, I want to talk about decisions because as you can see, it's kind of might be small on your screen, but see those little, it's like decisions, it's new, it's so exciting. I think this is going to be such a game changer for tons of users. So decisions, telling you it's going to be your new best friend because now instead of sending multiple separate proposals or multiple emails, getting client confusion, now you can streamline this process by creating proposals within a trip, one trip, where you can select up to 3 different proposals and you can send it to a client with just one email, it's one link, and it's one flow. Sounds good, huh? It's a really, really nice. And let me show you an example here. So this family reunion right here, let's say that this client, they had, they knew they wanted to go somewhere tropical, somewhere warm, but just not really sure where. So I'm like, that's fine. I will put a few proposal options for you. And so you can just go ahead, create your proposals, one by one. And again, you can have 1, 2, or 3. And then when you're ready to present it to the client, you're just going to click decision. So you're going to add new and you're going to choose decision. Now from here, we're going to see what proposals are in this trip. So go ahead and check the ones you want. So I'm going to check all 3 of them. And now I'm going to click create decision. And now what's really nice about this view that you're seeing, this is exactly what your client sees. So while you're editing and making sure it's looking really good and gonna knock their socks off, you can still see visually what it'll look like for them. But what's nice about this is it's easy to go in and you can quickly edit by just clicking those edit options and it'll take you into the proposal builder where you can edit it there. And then you also can add summaries. So if you want to add short summaries about this, you can do that in there as well. So it's really, really easy. It's very, again, streamlined, which is really great. Now, I'm going to switch over to my slides because I want to show you something here. Now, a couple things that's going to also be really helpful with the release of decisions is that you also can add forms to the decision. So when they, accept or they say, I want this option, then after that, you can say, okay, I need these forms filled out. So how it'll work is you'll be able to select the forms that you want them to fill out. And then once they confirm their selection, so again, you can see in the background that it looks just like that example I showed you. They'll go ahead, select it, confirm, and then you can see now the little simple change is now you can see where it says they can complete the forms. So that's the next step. And from here, they can then start to complete all those forms you've given them. What is so nice about this now is previously you had that one form, but a lot of times, advisors were like, I need to have them do this for the deposit. And then I need, their passport info, all of that stuff. And now you can go ahead and put all those forms in here. And then they also can track, when they filled them out and still review the other ones and finish them in there. So it's just really handy there. It's going to be incredible. Now, one other thing I want to show you with decisions is here's the other thing that probably happens all the time is, they're like, I didn't receive that. Can you send that again? We got you. So what you can do is when you click on a decision that you would have sent to them already, you do have the option over here. You can see this decision that was sent to Betty Smith. So you can track this. So if you send it, whoever you send it to, you can track and just click resend email. And it even saves the message that you previously would have included and resend it. As simple as that. It's so big. And actually, I just realized I forgot to show you another thing really big within trips that you can also resend forms as well. Kyle's probably like, hey, you missed one of them. You can also resend forms. So if I needed to resend a form as well, you can do that. It works the same way where you can go back, see the forms that you've sent, And then you can click this resend button here. And then again, it saves those values in there. So then you can change it if you need, but you can go ahead and just say resend. And then it'll tell you when the last time is that you sent that as well. So it's really cool. I mean, you're probably noticing now how we're giving you the option to resend again with the forms or a decision. And again, this is really just going to help streamline making your life a little bit easier to just say, that's okay. I'll resend it to you right now. It'll be really quick. So with the decision, once your client does make that decision, what's going to happen is that you'll receive an email notification, and it'll also share the update within the trip so you can go and see that they've done that decision. But here's the good thing is that you'll also be in complete control to take action after the decision was made. So then from there, after that happens, you can go and you can archive the other trips, you can convert it into an itinerary, but you can also just reuse decisions for other clients too. So it's going to be really handy, really helpful. Get excited for decisions coming really, really soon. Because again, it's really going to help take those proposals to another level. And especially for those of you who do like to give different options and those group trips, it's going to be really awesome stuff. So now I'm not done yet. I still have a couple more here. So I'm going to walk you through two more new tools, starting with Smart Import. Now, I'm really excited for this feature. I've been having so much fun testing with this, and every time I use it, it blows my mind. So I'm going to show you this. Now, Smart Import, it can be found within the itinerary and proposal builder. So let me just jump into one of these really quick. I'm just going to click edit. I'm going to go into this Italy holiday here. Now, with the Smart Import, I'm going to show you how this works, but think about all the suppliers you work with who maybe they're not integrated into Travefy yet, or maybe they're a small private tour company or a DMC you work with, even down to dinner reservations. You can actually go ahead and upload that information or pull from a website in here with Smart Import. Now, how this is going to work is when you're in an itinerary or a proposal, you can find the Smart Import option in two places. One, you can find it over here by the new day or under new event. So you'll see it now in that drop down, that Smart Import tool. Now, when this opens up, we're going to let you either copy and paste information, or if you have a PDF, you can just upload that as well. Now, I'm going to do a PDF first. And this I'm so excited for because I even saw someone chat about this, about Delta Vacations. Watch this. So this Delta Vacations, this is a quote. So it's not even booked yet. And I can go ahead and quickly drop it in here. So I can just go ahead and I can add it right in. And then I'm just going to press import. So I'm just loading it right in. And then here's what it looks like. It pulls in the flights. Not only it's also like tracking them as well, and it's also pulling in all of the check-ins to the hotels. See how it's doing all of this information? How incredibly powerful is that? And it's so easy. So here's what it does. It does it, and then you just say, okay, go ahead and import those right in there. It is, I see the chat going off. I told you, it is really, really cool stuff. And it's just so awesome because then again, you can come in here and then here's where you can start adding more. Like if you need to add those city guides, whatever it is, you need to include your own personal messaging, add that in there. Now, let me show you one more because I just got to blow your mind a little bit more here. I'm going to take a step out to another trip or into same trip, but a different itinerary here, just to clean one out. And I just want to show you to give you an example. Now, those are the big ones, like the PDF that I pulled in. But sometimes you might just have like something smaller, like a dinner reservation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click into that Smart Import again. And now I have a reservation here. So let me copy and paste this email. So the reservation just gives it to me as an email. So I'm just going to go in here. Now let me copy and paste it. And it looks like a lot of stuff and you're like, how would a computer do this? But it finds it really fast, actually. It's pretty cool. Look at that. It just found it and now I import it and boom. You can see it right away, know the date, the time, information, all of that. It is so cool. Really, really amazing stuff. And just also think about how much time this is about to save you. So it's going to be really cool. And once you do get access to this tool, please definitely use it and share your feedback, because it's only going to get more and more intuitive as the system learns and more things come through. So it's going to be really, I'm telling you, I love it. But not done yet. I have one more, and then we'll get to some questions here. But the last feature that I want to spotlight is give you all a sneak peek at updated cruise content coming soon. This is another thing that I cannot wait for this to release, because right now we already have a cruise database built into Travefy, so you can get those river cruises, ocean cruises. But now, when adding cruise content to a Travefy itinerary or proposal, you're going to see more options to add content that you can't find anywhere else. And you can see here, look at this screenshot. I mean, the screenshot alone is so powerful, how much stuff you can find in here. And it gets better because you can also see optional filters for better support. If you're doing some discovery, like you're like, oh, I just want to kind of see what's available and, offer these different suggestions. Or if you already know the cruise you're looking for, you can also go straight to that one and get all the information. And it's just so visually helpful, just amazing stuff there. Now, when I get to this next slide, I get ready for this, because remember those decisions that we were talking about just a little bit ago? Well, now, if you're doing decisions with cruises, you're actually going to be able to select different options within the cruise. So, take for example, you want to offer different cabins options for a cruise. You can do that. You'll be able to look very similar like you're seeing on my screen, where you'll be able to check and you can say, I want to offer this as an option in there. So it is so cool. And to show you this and what it would look like is, this is what your client would see. They'd see, okay, I can select the option, and then they can go ahead and get a deeper look and then confirm that selection. I mean, whoa, so, so, so incredible stuff in there. But now, that's the wrap up of my demo. I feel like I could be here for hours walking through so many things, because it's very exciting stuff. But one thing before we get into questions, because I don't want to forget to mention this, because it's kind of a big deal, is head to our Facebook group. If you're not part of our Facebook group, go ahead and join it. It's the official Travefy Facebook group. But we want to hear, what is your favorite update or announcement that you've heard today, and what are you looking forward to the most? And by doing that, you will be entered to win a Travefy swag bag. That's really cool. And we're going to choose 3 winners, and we'll choose them Friday. So you have a little time. So if your colleagues are like, go watch the webinar, hurry, let them know. And we're going to select a random winner on Friday, 3 of them. And we'll contact you and let you know. But head on over to that group and tell us your favorite stuff. But with that, guys,
Great work.
that's
Awesome.
so
Take a
much stuff.
breath. Get a sip of water.
Do that.
Nice work on that. So real quick, Kendra or Jonathan in the background, if you can throw the link into our Facebook group to the chat, just so people can access that if they're not already in it. But now is the very, very exciting time to jump into some Q&A. Now, the first hot, steaming question, burning question is, I've seen so many people that are so excited for this. Firstly, if you were watching me during the demo and stuff, I was smiling from ear to ear, watching everyone's comments and seeing how impressed they are with some of this new functionality, and they can't wait to get their hands on it. So that just makes us happy as a team, because we are building this for you, for your businesses, and to help you operate smoother, better, grow your business, all of that. So this really, really is a huge encouragement to us. I wish our entire engineering team could actually see all of the comments in here. We're going to share it with them afterwards. But the most burning question is, hey, I'm loving this. When is all this coming out? So Kyle and Stephanie, can you walk us through, because there's some variations here, smart import, trips and decisions, cruise content, deeper CRM functionality, but give us a sense of timeline, because some of these are happening really soon, as soon as next week. And some of them are a little bit further out. They're things that we're working on or starting on, but I don't know if Kyle, you want to take a first swing at this.
Yeah, I'll take that, and I'll try to go in order that you'll see them. As Scott alluded to, next week is a really big week. So next week, you will have access to Smart Import. So every advisor on the call will have Smart Import. Also happening next week, you will have the ability to opt in to this new trips experience that Stephanie walked you through. So you don't have to use it next week. Highly encourage people to jump in when it fits your schedule, try it out, see how it works. We've just seen a lot more success if any of you have less busy times rather than busier times. So highly recommend jumping into that early. Similarly with that decisions workflow that we've talked through, that will also be available next week. It is kind of tied with that new trips experience. So you'll need to opt into that trips experience to see decisions, but those will be available next week. So Smart Import, trips, and decisions are all going to be available to everybody next week. And then the fourth we talked about in terms of non-CRM is that cruise import. That is coming in late Q4. So we're making a lot of progress, super excited to get that out as soon as possible and definitely coming before wave season. In terms of CRM, we are targeting, we want to move as fast as possible and start providing value. I've also been reading the chat and there's some really, really big things that people want and also some just like really, really minor but annoying things that we might be able to do a lot quicker. So we are working on CRM right now. As I mentioned with trips, a big part of the trips work we were doing is building that foundation for a much more integrated and deeply tied in CRM that works for you. So 2024, we've been thinking and talking about this, and we are now getting to that spot where you can start using that new trips experience, and we're moving on to the CRM pieces directly. So if you have feedback, or you're looking to simplify your tech stack by doing more in Travefy, we would absolutely love to hear from you. You can look for more specific details from us on exactly what this looks like over the coming weeks and months.
Awesome. Now, as you were answering that, people then very quickly asked, how will I be able to opt in next week? So I don't know if one of you want to just briefly describe what is that going to look like?
Yep. And Stephanie, feel free to add in because you're much better at these things than me. So at some point next week, and we will do our best to announce this broadly. So every social channel announcements in Travefy. But next week, you will log in one day and on your current trips view, where you create and manage your itineraries, at the bottom, there's going to be a bar telling you it's available with a link. And if you press that link, you'll be opted in. So your page will refresh and you'll see that new experience that Stephanie just walked you through. That's a very low risk thing to do because as soon as you opt in, you'll have the optionality to opt right back out. So if you want to jump in and play around with it, we highly encourage you to stay there because I think there's so much value in terms of resending forms all the way through big things like decisions. But we've done our best to make it really low risk for you to jump into that new experience, try it out when it makes sense to you, and have you really have a big say in when it's the right time for you to move all of your business over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to mention, I saw someone else. They're like, so every user will get it, and yes, so you'll be able to opt in. Yeah, as Kyle mentioned, next week, and we'll do our best to make sure you get notified about it. We'll send you email. We'll put some. And you'll see it in your account, like be like, hey, you'll actually see Kyle on another video, really encouraging you to, and it'll show you how to go ahead and opt in. But along with that, though, we will have tutorials. So we'll have short videos basically on everything that I covered today, actually walking you through how to use everything. And we also have FAQs ready for you as well. But again, if you do get in there and you have questions or feedback, definitely use that chat with our team, or just send us an email because we're really going to be wanting a lot of like any feedback you have, but also any questions because there could be, things that we're like, oh, we should explain that differently, so we would really help any suggestions on that, but we will have tutorials and all that good stuff for you.
Awesome. Now, a great question that came up, especially with Smart Import coming so quickly. And I'll take this question. It's from Gilbert. And Gilbert, you shot me an email yesterday. I'm emailing you back. It's been crazy busy. So I will email you back and get in touch with you. But Gilbert's question was, will there be an additional cost to use the Smart Import since it uses AI? Great question. There is no additional cost. to using the smart import. This is really, really important. We want to provide as much value to you as an advisor and efficiency tools and productivity tools. And this is something that's true to our ethos. We don't want to nickel and dime advisors in your business. So there is no additional cost to use the smart import. This is where we think it's going to be really, really helpful in speeding up what you do on a daily basis. There is no cost to the smart import in there.
Scott,
yeah, go for it.
I saw one that I think is a really good question as well. Someone asked, if I go try that new trips experience, how does it affect my current trips? We've also worked really hard that when you try this experience, absolutely nothing should change for your clients. So if they have access to an itinerary, they will keep access. If they do not have access to something, they will continue to not have access. So again, we want to make this as low risk and easy for you as possible. So nothing should change for your clients. It's purely an experience for you to stay more organized on day one, so that you can rest assured that they're going to keep seeing and having that same consistent experience that they have today.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now, another question, Kyle, this would be a great one for you. Sharon asked, can you use decisions for just creating proposals, or can you also create it for options for like hotels, tours, et cetera? So this gets into a little bit of the vision of what's coming down the pipeline for decisions. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, and we shared a little bit about this in the webinar, but with so many big, exciting things, it was definitely easy to miss. So we know that there's those early in the process proposal level decisions. I understand you, but I need some high level guidance on which one of these trips. We also know that once you've made that decision, there's so many micro decisions along the way that you still need them to make. So whether it is what level of package for your tour do you want, or what cabin level on the cruise ship, or which hotel suite type do you want? We want to support those as well. We think that's best done in the itinerary itself. So when they're looking through and kind of considering this full trip, making it really easy in the same way for you to lay out some options, talk about the differences, whether that's price or experience or whatever's important to you and the client, and have them clearly give you one response back. So that's coming as well. And that's what the last demo Stephanie did. We know one of the most popular types of questions and decisions that needs answered is, hey, you're going on a cruise. There are a lot of different cabin options that you want. And that's where we really want to bring these things together. So it's not just about importing cruise content, and it's not just about being able to ask those decisions. How do we set it up so that when you find your cruise in Travefy, you can quickly say, yep, they're going to need to choose. I know that these three are the most likely for them, and you're off and running, and the client can keep that communication going.
And
Great.
one thing to note too, or that I just want to make sure to note, is with decisions, when you get access, if you choose to get access early to that, starting next week, some of those won't be on there yet. So you'll see more of the high level decision stuff like I walked through. And then shortly after that is when you'll start getting those different events and all of the other stuff. So just a little note on that.
So cool. Good. So another question from Laura, and Stephanie, maybe you can take this. Will the resending of forms option work with credit card authorization?
Yes. And here's the cool thing is when you do that, it saves the value. So, when you have your credit card authorization and you put in the amount, or you put in all the information, the description, it will save all of that for you. So yes, you will be able to do just that, which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And we have time for just a few more questions. I'm going to take this next one. So Randy had a great question, just overarching question. How secure is the credit card authorization, credit card processing with Travefy? Great question. This is something that we want to be really transparent with and very, very much leading the industry with. So Travefy is one of the only options in the travel advisor space that's end-to-end PCI compliant. We go through annual third-party PCI compliance audits and get an attestation of compliance from that third-party certification service. So that's really, really important. I share this to help inform you all as fellow members of the travel advisor industry. When we started doing credit card authorizations, we thought this was an expected table stakes type of compliance certification. And we found that it's actually quite rare, that very few CRMs actually go through the process to certify that they are PCI compliant, and not just part of their service, but end to end, from the moment you log in to what your clients add in through forms. All of it has to be PCI compliant. So that's a really, really important factor that we want to make sure that we educate you on, is your client data is secure with Travefy.
That's awesome. Oh,
what other questions you guys see coming in that you want to answer?
Well, I do want to answer one, because I know this is really a big one, is again, the timeline on everything. So just to recap that really quick is, starting next week, you will have so literally in a couple days, which is very exciting, is that you will have the option to opt in, and that will give you the availability to see that new trips view. So when you log in, it says like, bonjour, your name, and then you can add, and then you can start adding forms in a trip and doing all that. You'll also be able to use that decisions as well. And smart import, which smart import, you'll have that in there as well when once you opt in, but you do have to opt in first. And again, that option will come in your account. But then some of the stuff you'll see later as weeks, a couple months, maybe like 1 month, is some more options within decisions. There will also be that cruise content as well. So that's all Q4 though. So that's like literally we're almost November. So it's very, very soon, very soon. But some of that though, you'll be expecting a bulk of that next week. What you saw me demonstrating today, you will have access to next week.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I think we have time for 2 more questions. I know we're going up past the hour, but we want to just cap these last 2 questions off. So Kyle, I'll throw this next one to you. It's from Susie, and she mentioned, wow, I'm so excited for the deeper CRM tools you guys that you're planning here in the future, but what does all of this look like for itinerary management? That's one of the core tools that you have. Does that mean you're not focusing on itinerary management in the future, or what does all of that look like?
Yeah, and so again, it probably doesn't get said often enough. Like, we know many of you choose Travefy primarily for, or maybe even exclusively for, the itineraries and that rich client experience. That is not going away. It remains core to what we do, and we will continue to invest. I hope you're seeing some of the things we're doing today, like the more deeper partnerships with suppliers to get you better content, or those decisions within the itinerary. Just looking for ways to not only streamline getting you the information you need, but doing it in a way that makes you look really professional and on top of it. And the better cruise content, I hope it's clear that we are really committed to itineraries and kind of that putting your brand front and center when you're working with your clients. We have a couple other surprises planned for next year that you'll need to wait to hear about as well.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So last question that I'll throw in, and I'll take this. And so I've seen a few different versions of this question from, like Sarah asking, hey, my host is actually using or looking for a system that that a lot of what you covered today are the things that are on their shopping list that they're looking for. Or like I saw Lavina just asked, do you expect to partner with other host systems or CRM tools? All getting at, are you looking to integrate with host systems or with agency systems? And the answer is yes. So if you are with an agency or a host that has an existing system, and we are preferred partners with so many, these are conversations that we're having and going to be having. How can we integrate more tightly with your host or your agency's existing system so that the information can flow smoothly together? We're also looking to partner with host agencies. So while we're releasing this CRM functionality over the coming months and coming quarters into 2025, we'd love to talk with you. We have really great and fantastic host agency rates that we can get you into now that can save your agency a ton of money, and you're able to roll out Travefy to everyone at your agency in the process. And if you're interested in that, just shoot us an email at professional@travefy.com. We'll get you in touch with our sales team so they can answer any questions. Or you can go to travefy.com/host-agency. And with that, you can actually just schedule an appointment to learn more from our sales team of what types of host tools. They can learn more about what your host currently has and what they're looking for. And we'd love to talk with you more about that. But that's a great opportunity, and we'd really appreciate that conversation. So with that, any final notes or words from you guys before we wrap up?
I just have one thing. So I'm just going to share this one more time. To keep the party going. Head to the official Facebook group. We really want to see. It's going to be really cool. So make sure. I love that we can just keep convos going there. And if you're not part of it, you should. It's really cool because that's also the place that we always go to first when we have announcements. So you definitely want to be in there. So recommend that. But that's the last thing I would promote.
Head over to the group and share your most favorite update from today. We'd love to hear it. Awesome. Well, Kyle, Stephanie, this has been so much fun. Thank you for walking us through these really cool updates that are coming soon and coming down the road in 2025. I'm super excited about it, and it was really, really fun to see everyone's responses in the chat and in the Q&A.
Oh, I'm so excited. Stay tuned. Watch everything next week because you'll start seeing a lot of this. But thank you so much, Kyle, Scott. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, see y'all.
All right. See everyone. Thanks.